My beloved child, imagine that someone quietly places an ancient compass into your hands, not a compass made by human hands, not one that points north. This one points only toward the path God chose for you before you were born. Now ask yourself one question. Would you have the courage to follow it, even if it led you away from everything you've been fighting to keep? Because what if the greatest heartbreak of your life was never a punishment? What if the closed door that left you in tears, the opportunity that slipped away, the relationship that suddenly ended, the dream that collapsed without warning, was actually the moment heaven gently turned the compass in a different direction? Stay with me, because before this message ends, you may recognize something about your own life that you've never understood before. And if this message speaks directly to your heart, leave the word guide in the comments. I read them, and more importantly, your act of faith may encourage someone else who feels lost today. There are moments in life when silence feels louder than answers. You prayed, you waited, you trusted, yet nothing happened the way you expected. You called it rejection, but heaven called it redirection. Think about a traveler walking through a dense forest in the middle of the night. He believes he knows the way. Every step feels confident until he realizes he has been walking toward the edge of a cliff the entire time. At that very moment, someone gently takes the compass from his hands, turns it, and points him toward another trail. To the traveler, it feels frustrating, confusing, even unfair. But from above, it is the only path that leads to life. Maybe that's exactly where you are today. You've been grieving over a direction that was never meant to become your destination. You've replayed conversations, questioned your worth, wondered why people walked away, asked why opportunities disappeared at the last second. You thought heaven was silent. But what if heaven was simply protecting you without explaining itself? Some of God's greatest miracles don't begin with an open door. They begin with a closed one. The hardest truth to accept is this: not everything you lose is meant to be recovered. Some things are removed because they were quietly removing your peace. And here's something most people never realize. God rarely redirects someone who refuses to move. Sometimes he allows disappointment to become the very force that changes your direction, not because he enjoys your pain, but because he can already see what waits beyond the next turn. Have you ever noticed how certain events only make sense years later? The job you didn't get, the person who rejected you, the city you never moved to, the opportunity that vanished overnight. At the time, it looked like failure. Looking back, it became protection. That is the mystery of divine guidance. The compass doesn't reveal the entire journey. It only reveals the next faithful step. And perhaps that's why you're listening to this message today. Not by accident, not by coincidence, but because somewhere deep inside, you've grown tired of asking, why did this happen to me? Maybe the better a question is, what was God protecting me from? Before we continue, tell me in the comments, have you ever experienced a rejection that later became one of the greatest blessings of your life, my beloved child? There are moments when my silence feels heavier than my voice. You wonder why I did not stop the pain. You wonder why I allowed the door to close while you were still knocking. You wonder why I let people walk away without giving you the answers your heart desperately wanted. But listen carefully, silence has never meant absence. While you were looking at the closed door, I was already preparing a road you could not yet see. The compass I placed before you was never designed to satisfy your curiosity. It was designed to build your trust. If I showed you every detail of your future today, faith would no longer be faith. You would walk by sight instead of by trust. That is not how my greatest blessings are received. They are discovered one faithful step at a time. Think about a mountain traveler climbing through thick clouds. From where he stands, he cannot see the summit. Sometimes he cannot even see the next few feet in front of him. yet he keeps climbing because he believes the path still exists beyond the fog. That is exactly where many of my children give up. They mistake temporary fog for a permanent destination. But I have never abandoned anyone in the fog. I have always been there, quietly leading every step. Perhaps you have been asking, Lord, why did everything change so suddenly? Because if nothing had changed, you would have remained comfortable in a place that could never fulfill your purpose. Comfort is often the greatest enemy of destiny. Many people pray for transformation. Few are willing to walk through the uncomfortable road that leads to it. You asked me for a greater purpose. You asked me for wisdom. You asked me to use your life in ways that would glorify my name. Did you think those prayers would be answered without changing your direction? No. Sometimes the answer to your prayer begins with losing what no longer belongs in your future. You saw loss. I saw preparation. You saw rejection. I saw protection. You saw delay. I saw perfect timing. My beloved child, do not measure my love by the doors that closed. Measure it by the dangers you never had to face because I quietly turned your path. There are storms I never allowed to reach you. There are betrayals you never experienced because I separated you from certain people before they could wound your spirit. There are decisions you almost made that would have stolen years of your life. You call those moments coincidence. I call them mercy. Even now, there are pieces moving together that you cannot yet see. People are being positioned. Conversations are being prepared. Opportunities are quietly approaching, and while you think nothing is happening, heaven is working with perfect precision. The compass has never stopped moving, neither has my plan for your life. Every delay has carried a purpose. Every detour has carried protection. Every unanswered question has carried hidden wisdom. One day you will look back and realize that the road you begged me to reopen would have led you away from the life I created for you. On that day, tears of disappointment will become tears of gratitude. You will finally understand why I refuse to answer certain prayers the way you expected, because my answer was always greater than your request. Now I want you to do something. Take a deep look at your heart. Is there still a closed door you keep trying to reopen? Is there still a chapter you refuse to release, if there is? Perhaps today is the day to loosen your grip. My beloved child, there is a sign that many people spend their entire lives searching for, yet they overlook it every single day. They expect thunder from heaven. They wait for a dramatic miracle. They pray for an unmistakable voice. But more often than not, I begin redirecting a life in complete silence. The first sign is not that everything around you changes. The first sign is that something inside you begins to change. Suddenly, the places that once excited you no longer satisfy your spirit. The conversations you once enjoyed begin to feel empty. The ambitions that once consumed your thoughts slowly lose their grip on your heart. You wonder why. You think you've lost your passion, but you have not lost it. I am simply giving you a new one. When I redirect my children, I do not always move them immediately. First, I transform the desires of their hearts, because if your heart never changes, your direction never truly changes either. That quiet restlessness you've been feeling, it is not confusion. It is an invitation to trust me before you understand me. The compass I placed before you is still moving. Not because the destination has changed, but because you have grown. A compass must always adjust as the traveler continues forward, and so must your faith. Do you remember how desperately you once wanted certain things? You believed they would complete your life. You thought you could never be happy without them. Yet today, many of those things no longer matter. That was not time alone. That was my hand gently healing your heart. Healing rarely happens all at once. It happens one quiet moment at a time, one surrendered prayer, one unseen victory, one decision to trust me again. While you were waiting for a miracle, I was rebuilding your heart from the inside out. Because blessings placed into a wounded heart often become burdens instead of gifts. That is why preparation always comes before promotion. Many people ask me for greater opportunities. Few ask me to become the person who can faithfully carry them. My beloved child, never mistake preparation for delay. A seed hidden beneath the soil appears forgotten. No one applauds it. No one notices it. Yet beneath the surface, life is quietly breaking through. Its greatest work happens where no human eye can see. Your life has been much the same. The world sees waiting. I see roots growing deeper. The world sees silence. I hear prayers shaping your future. The world sees closed doors. I see dangerous roads that were never meant for you. One day, someone will ask how you found such peace after everything you've endured. They will expect you to tell them about the moment everything changed. But the truth is, everything changed the day you stopped demanding answers and started trusting my direction. That was the moment your compass began pointing toward purpose instead of fear. There are people watching your journey right now. Some are waiting for you to fail. Others cannot understand why you continue believing when nothing seems certain. Do not let their opinions become your direction. A compass cannot follow every voice around it. It follows only one true north. In the same way, your soul must learn to follow only my voice. The louder the world becomes, the more carefully you must listen to me. There will always be distractions. There will always be shortcuts that promise quick success. There will always be voices telling you to return to what feels familiar. But remember this, not every open road leads to your destiny. Some roads only lead you back to the pain I already rescued you from. So when you feel tempted to go backward, pause for a moment. Look at the compass again, not with your eyes, but with your faith. It has never pointed toward your past. It has always pointed toward the future I lovingly prepared for you long before you took your first breath. And perhaps, without realizing it, you are closer than you have ever been. Closer to healing, closer to restoration, closer to the purpose that once seemed impossible to reach. Do not stop walking now. Do not turn around now. The next step may look ordinary, but it could be the very step that changes everything. Part 4, my beloved child. The greatest blessings I have prepared for you rarely announce themselves with noise. They do not always arrive wrapped in the miracle you imagined. Most of the time, they arrive looking completely ordinary. That is why so many people walk right past the answer to their prayers. They are searching for lightning, while I am quietly placing a single open door before them. Remember the compass. It has never been concerned with impressing you. Its only purpose has been to keep you moving toward the place where my will and your purpose finally meet. Many people believe destiny is found in one extraordinary moment. But more often, destiny is built through 1,000 ordinary moments of obedience. One conversation, one decision, one unexpected delay, one act of forgiveness, one opportunity that seemed too small to matter. Every one of those moments becomes another gentle turn of the compass. That is how I lead my children, not with confusion, but with quiet consistency. You have been asking me for clarity. Yet clarity often comes after obedience, not before it. If I revealed every chapter of your future today, you might admire the destination. But you would never develop the faith required to reach it. Faith grows while you are walking, not while you are standing still. My beloved child, there is something I want you to understand. The enemy often tries to convince you that nothing is changing because everything around you looks the same. But spiritual transformation begins long before visible transformation. Just because your eyes cannot see movement does not mean heaven has stopped working. Think of the sunrise. Long before the first ray of light reaches the horizon, the earth is already turning toward a new day. The darkness has no idea that its time is almost over. Your life has entered a season much like that. You may still see unanswered questions. You may still feel uncertain at times. But beneath everything you can see, I am already turning your life toward the light. Do not become discouraged because the miracle has not arrived in the way you expected. Some miracles do not appear as sudden breakthroughs. Some arrive as a new peace you cannot explain. Some arrive as the strength to let go of what once controlled you. Some arrive through a person I send into your life at exactly the right moment. Others arrive through a closed door that quietly protects you from years of regret. You call these moments ordinary. I call them sacred. Every step you have taken in faith has brought you closer to the life I prepared for you. Nothing has been wasted, not your tears, not your waiting, not your disappointments, not even the prayers that seem to disappear into silence. I have collected every one of them. I have never forgotten a single cry that came from your heart. There were nights when you believed no one understood your pain. Yet I was sitting beside you in that silence. There were mornings when you forced yourself to smile while carrying burdens no one else could see. I saw every hidden battle. I counted every silent tear, and I never once looked away. That is why I tell you now. Stop measuring your progress by what you have not received. Instead, look at the person you are becoming. You are stronger than you were, wiser than you were, more compassionate than you were, closer to me than you were. These are not small changes. They are the evidence that the compass has been guiding you all along. Soon, there will come a moment when everything that once felt disconnected will suddenly make sense. You will see why certain people had to leave, why certain plans had to fail, why certain doors remained closed despite your prayers. And when that moment comes, you will not say, "Why did this happen to me?" You will quietly whisper, "Now I understand why you never let me stay there." Hold on a little longer, my beloved child. Do not lose heart just before the journey begins to reveal its purpose, because in the next part, I will reveal the unexpected encounter that heaven has already arranged for you, an encounter that may seem completely ordinary, yet it has the power to redirect the course of your future forever. Part 5, my beloved child. There are moments in every journey when the compass seems completely still. You look at your life and wonder if anything is moving at all. The prayers sound the same, the days feel the same, the waiting grows longer, and you begin asking yourself, have I missed the direction you were trying to show me? No, my child. You have not missed it. A compass does not stop working simply because the traveler cannot see the destination. It continues pointing in the right direction, even when every step feels ordinary. That is exactly what I have been doing in your life. While you have been counting the days, I have been arranging the moments. While you have been watching the clock, I have been preparing the people. While you have been questioning the delay, I have been protecting the timing. There is an encounter waiting for you. Not an accident, not a coincidence, an encounter I prepared long before you ever prayed about it. You may think it will happen in a church, perhaps during a powerful moment of worship, or through a dramatic miracle that everyone can see. But my ways are often quieter than your expectations. It may happen during an ordinary conversation, a message you almost ignored, a phone call you nearly declined, a person you never expected to meet, a simple invitation that seems too small to matter. That is why I ask you to stay spiritually awake. Do not overlook the ordinary while searching for the extraordinary. Some of my greatest answers arrive wearing ordinary clothes. Remember when I redirected your path before? You thought I had taken something away. Only later did you realize I had rescued you from a future that would have stolen your peace. The same wisdom is guiding you today. The compass has not changed its direction. It is simply leading you one faithful step at a time. My beloved child, there are blessings that cannot reach you until your heart is ready to receive them. If I placed them in your hands too early, you would mistake them for your own achievement instead of my grace. That is why preparation is an act of love, not punishment. I have been teaching you patience because your next season will require it. I have been teaching you humility because your next blessing will attract attention. I have been teaching you discernment because not every smiling face will celebrate your growth. The road ahead is brighter than the road behind you. Do not allow memories of old disappointments to become heavier than the hope I am placing before you. Some people continue staring at doors that closed years ago. Meanwhile, they fail to notice the path that has been quietly opening beside them. Lift your eyes, my child. The direction has already changed. You are no longer walking toward the life you feared losing. You are walking toward the life I always intended you to live. There will soon be a moment when your heart whispers, "This feels different." Do not ignore that feeling. Peace is often my first confirmation. When confusion begins to fade, when fear slowly loses its voice, when hope returns without any visible reason, know that my spirit is reminding you that you are still on the right path. Not every confirmation comes with signs in the sky. Sometimes the greatest confirmation is the quiet confidence I place inside your soul. Trust that peace. Protect that peace. Follow that peace. Because the compass I placed in your hands has never pointed toward fear. It has always pointed toward purpose. And even now, as you continue this journey, unseen doors are opening, unseen prayers are being answered, and unseen victories are drawing closer with every faithful step you take. So keep walking, keep believing, keep trusting. You are far closer than you realize. In the next part, I will reveal why the destination I have prepared for you is greater than the dream you once refused to let go, and why every step of this journey was necessary to breathe. My beloved child, there is something you must understand before you reach the place I am leading you toward. The dream you're holding in your heart was never only about the destination. It was always about the person you were becoming along the way. You have been looking at the unanswered prayers. You have been looking at the delays. You have been looking at the moments when nothing seemed to change. But I have been looking deeper. I have been looking at your heart. I have been shaping your character. I have been strengthening your faith, because the blessing I have prepared for you requires a stronger version of you than the person who first asked for it. My child, sometimes you wonder why the journey had to be so long. Why did you have to experience rejection? Why did you have to walk through seasons where nobody understood you? Why did you have to carry battles that nobody else could see? But what you called a setback was often preparation. What you called silence was often training. What you called a closed door was often protection. You were asking me to change your situation, but I was changing you so that your situation would no longer control you. There is a difference. A person who receives a blessing without preparation can lose it. But a person who has been transformed through the journey can protect it, value it, and use it with wisdom. That is why every tear mattered. Every lonely night mattered. Every moment when you had to choose faith over fear mattered. Nothing was wasted. Not one prayer was forgotten, not one struggle was ignored. I saw the battles you fought when nobody was watching. I saw the times you smiled in front of others while carrying pain inside. I saw when you encouraged people while your own heart needed encouragement. And my child, those moments were building something powerful inside you. They were creating a strength that comfort could never create. The destination ahead of you is not just a place. It is a new season. A season where you will understand why certain people had to leave, why certain opportunities did not work out, why certain plans fell apart. One day you will look back and say, "Now I understand why it had to happen that way." Because sometimes the blessing is hidden inside the lesson. Sometimes the miracle begins with a disappointment. Sometimes the answer arrives after you stop asking why and start trusting the process. My beloved child, do not return to old places just because they feel familiar. Do not reopen doors I closed for your protection. Do not chase what I already removed from your path. There are things you missed today that you will thank me for removing tomorrow. Your heart remembers the comfort of yesterday, but I know the purpose of tomorrow, and I am not leading you backward. I am leading you forward. The compass in your hand is becoming clearer. The confusion that once surrounded you is beginning to disappear. The voices that made you doubt yourself are becoming quieter, and the voice of peace is becoming stronger. Soon you will recognize why you had to walk through the hidden season. You will understand why your progress looked slow. You will realize that I was not delaying your blessing. I was developing your ability to carry it. My child, there is a moment coming when the pieces of your journey will begin connecting. The people you meet, the opportunities that appear, the ideas placed in your heart, the courage you suddenly feel, they will not be random. They will be part of the path I have been preparing. But when that moment arrives, remember something important. Do not let excitement make you forget wisdom. Do not let success make you forget humility. Do not let new doors make you forget the one who opened them. Because the greatest blessing is not only receiving what you prayed for, the greatest blessing is becoming someone who can receive it with a grateful heart. Keep your heart pure. Keep your faith strong. Keep your eyes open. The encounter I told you about is getting closer. The moment that seemed impossible is moving toward you. The season you thought would never change is beginning to shift, and when it happens, you will realize something beautiful. You were never walking alone. Every step was guided. Every delay had meaning. Every lesson had purpose. Every moment was preparing you for this exact chapter. My beloved child, do not give up now. You are standing closer to the answer than you have ever been. The compass is pointing forward, the path is opening, and the destination I prepared for you is waiting. My beloved child, the journey that once felt endless is now bringing you closer to the moment you have been waiting for. For so long you wondered if anything was changing. You looked around and saw no evidence. You prayed, but the answer seemed distant. You believed, but the path seemed unclear. Yet, all this time, something was happening beneath the surface. Roots were growing before the tree appeared. The foundation was being built before the house was revealed. And your story was being prepared before the next chapter could begin, my child. Now you are entering a season where you will begin to recognize the signs of change. Not every sign will be loud. Not every blessing will arrive with a dramatic announcement. Some of the greatest changes begin quietly. A new idea placed in your heart, a new courage rising inside you, a peace you cannot explain, a sudden clarity about the direction you must take. These are reminders that you are no longer standing where you used to stand. You have grown, you have changed, you have become stronger through everything you survived. Remember the person you were when this journey began. You were afraid of losing things. You were afraid of the unknown. You were afraid that the delays meant you had been forgotten. But look at yourself now. You have learned patience. You have learned faith. You have learned that your worth was never determined by people's opinions or temporary circumstances. My beloved child, the greatest victory was not the blessing waiting at the end. The greatest victory was becoming the person who could walk through the storm and still keep believing. Many people only trust when everything is visible, but you learned to trust when nothing made sense. You learned to continue when the road was empty. You learned to move forward even when nobody was cheering for you, and that faith created something powerful inside you, a strength that cannot be taken away. Now do not be afraid of the new doors opening before you. Do not let the memories of old disappointments convince you that the future will repeat the past. A new season requires a new mindset. You cannot enter a new chapter while constantly holding on to the pain of the previous one. Release what hurt you. Forgive what broke you. Let go of what was never meant to stay. The space you create by releasing. The past will make room for the blessings of the future. My child, there will be moments ahead when you realize why certain prayers took longer. You will meet people who remind you why others had to leave. You will experience opportunities that show you why previous ones failed. You will stand in places you once only imagined. And in those moments you will understand. The waiting was not empty. The silence was not rejection. The delay was not denial. It was preparation. Every step was leading you here. The compass never stopped working. Even when you felt lost, you were being guided. Even when you felt alone, you were being protected. Even when you felt forgotten, you were being prepared. My beloved child, your story is not ending here. This is not the end of your journey. This is the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter filled with greater wisdom, greater purpose, greater understanding. Walk forward with confidence. Carry kindness in your heart. Carry gratitude in your words. Carry faith in your actions. Because the greatest blessings are not only the things you receive, they are the person you become while receiving them. Never forget, you were never walking without direction. You were never fighting without strength. You were never waiting without purpose. The same hand that guided you through the darkest nights will guide you into brighter days. The same love that protected you from what you could not see will lead you toward what you cannot yet imagine. So keep walking, my child. Keep believing. Keep trusting. The destination is closer than you think. And when you finally look back at this journey, you will smile and say, every moment had a reason. Every lesson had a purpose. Every step brought me exactly where I was meant to be. My beloved child, this is your reminder. Your story is still being written. Your purpose is still unfolding. Your greatest chapter is not behind you. It is ahead of you. The final calling has been heard. The path has been revealed. Now walk forward with faith. Because your journey was never about finding the way. It was about discovering who you were becoming along the way.